So interesting news. Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden have released their fundraising figures for the fourth quarter. Let's take a look. Lagging rivals, Elizabeth Warren raised $21.2 million in fourth quarter. Miss Warren's fundraising haul for the last 3 months of the year represented a slight dip, though she ended the quarter on a high note. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts raised $21.2 million for her presidential bid in the fourth quarter of 2019, her team announced on Friday, a slight dip from the previous quarter and behind 3 of her top rivals for the Democratic nomination. Well, this ain't looking good for Lizzie, is it? The total raised by Miss Warren in the final 3 months of the year was lower than the $24.6 million she raised from July to September. All right, so you guys remember last time round in the third quarter, Lizzie Warren was in second place behind Bernie. She was doing good, very good. And she was doing very good in the polls as well. Last week, her campaign had signaled her lagging fundraising effort for the quarter, which echoed her slip in the polls over the same period. Days before the end of the year, her campaign took the unusual step of going public with its financial performance, announcing it had raised just over $17 million and conceding that it will be nearly impossible to match last quarter at this point. That turned out to be right. Okay, so if you guys remember, last quarter, Elizabeth Warren was doing very good. Like I just said, not just in the fundraising numbers, but also in the polls. She had actually taken Bernie Sanders over. She was in second place now nationally, just behind Biden. Amazing, right? And she was staying there for a long time. Well, as we saw in the last weeks, that trend is stopping, okay? She's now conceded to Bernie Sanders. Bernie is back in second place in national polls, and Bernie is, of course, still leading first place, killing it with the fundraising. I mean, come on, man. You got to be pretty ballsy to go after, Bernie Sanders' grassroots campaign. You got no chance, man. But this is not good for her. I think we're going to be seeing more of this trend. Oh, yes. Overall, Miss Warren's money came from nearly 900,000 contributions in the quarter with an average donation of about $23, demonstrating her potent grassroots support. So again, as I said yesterday, why do we talk about the average donation? Why do we highlight that figure? Because the lower it is, the better. That means you have very, very strong grassroots support for that figure to be going down when there's so many people donating. Okay, so this quarter, Bernie Sanders' average donation is $18. Elizabeth Warren, $23. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. $23 is pretty damn good, I bet Pete Buttigieg would love to have $23 as his average donation when he's getting all those fat checks from the elite donors and the private fundraisers and the wine caves, okay? I really like how Elizabeth Warren went after him for the wine cave during the last debate. So that was good. But, yeah, $23, not bad. Not bad. We can't knock it, It's not $18 like Bernie Sanders, but it's not bad either. Okay, last election cycle, Bernie at $27. Not bad either. So, still, her $21.2 million haul was significantly behind the $34.5 million that Bernie Sanders raised. She also trails the $24.7 million collected by Pete Buttigieg, the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, and the $22.7 million raised by former Vice President Joe Biden. Those 3 opponents all reported raising more money in the fourth quarter than they had in the third. So what's happening here is that Bernie, Buttigieg, and Biden have all raised more money than the last quarter. The only one who's slipping, the only one who's raising less money is Elizabeth Warren. That's not a good sign, man. Not a good sign. Now, granted, only one of those 3, Bernie, is actually getting his money with grassroots. Now, this is very interesting with Biden, that he's raised $22.7 million. If you guys remember, last quarter, it was $15 million. Oh, what a disaster. That front runner only with $50 million. Oh my God, what a disaster. So he's stepped it up now. But we all know why he's gotten $22.7 million this quarter, because he saw that he's not getting any grassroots donations. The private fundraisers aren't cutting it. So what did he do? He opened himself up to PAC money. So this is all dirty super PAC money that's gotten him $22.7 million. Same with Pete Buttigieg, okay? Again, it's not clean money. Hardly any of that is clean money, okay? Miss Warren finished ahead of Andrew Yang, the former entrepreneur who raised $16.5 million, and Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, who raised $11.4 million. Again, I still don't understand why she is in the race, although, yes, it is conceivable that with $11 million, she is able to continue running her campaign. Unfortunately, I hope she drops out soon. Like Mr. Sanders, Ms. Warren is relying on grassroots donors to finance her campaign. Neither Ms. Warren nor Mr. Sanders is holding high-dollar fundraising events with wealthy contributors, a contrast with Mr. Biden and Mr. Buttigieg. Two other candidates, Michael Bloomberg and Tom Steyer, are billionaires using their personal fortunes to fund their efforts. Ms. Warren has made that contrast a major point of emphasis on the campaign trail in recent weeks and at the most recent debate in December. Yes, so you guys remember when she gave it to Buttigieg over the wine cave thing? Yeah, that was good. Again, as I said before, I really love that moment. I think it's wonderful when other candidates do Bernie's work for him. That way Bernie doesn't look offensive or like he's attacking anyone. He just stands there quietly and they do it for him. It's good. It benefits Bernie. She reiterated her message at a town hall-style event in New Hampshire on Thursday. Our democracy really is on the line. That's me trying to do my impression. She said, and if the only way you can become the Democratic nominee is to be a billionaire or suck up to the billionaires, then look out, America. All told, Ms. Warren raised $71 million in 2019 from nearly 1 million people, making more than 2.7 million donations, her campaign said Friday. Yes, we're not going to knock it. It is impressive. However, she contaminated her own campaign by using that corporate money from the last time she ran during her Senate bid, That's not grassroots money, is it, out boy? Not at all. Her dip in the fourth quarter in both fundraising and polling came as some of her Democratic rivals attacked her over the critical issue of healthcare. Ms. Warren had aligned herself with Mr. Sanders in support of a Medicare for all single-payer healthcare insurance system, but she faced repeated questions over whether she would raise taxes on the middle class in order to pay for the system and came under sharp criticism at the October debate. She later released a financing plan that would not raise taxes on the middle class, as well as a plan for transitioning to Medicare for all. So, this is what we've been saying. The reason she's dipped in the polls, the reason she's been raising less money is because her transition plan, the way she wants to implement Medicare for all, is not appealing and it's not convincing. This regressive tax that she wants to implement is ludicrous. Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? Why can't you not just do Medicare for all the way Medicare for all is written in the bill? You co-signed the bill, Liz. What are you doing? You shot yourself in the foot by trying to appeal to this tagline of, I'm not going to raise taxes on the middle class. Bitch, the middle class don't care if you raise the taxes if you give them health care. Okay? Do you not get that in your head? Just get it through your damn head. It's costing you. This is what you get when you're not a true progressive. This is what you get. Not only would you have good standing in the polls and great grassroots donations, just like Bernie Sanders, if you were true to progressive terms, but people would actually support you genuinely because you are progressive. Okay? Win-win. No, she don't want it. Well, have it your way then. So where do we go from here? Well, I don't know. We're just going to have to see how Elizabeth Warren does in the primary. I see this race as a three-way race. It's between Biden, Bernie, and Warren. Yes, Buttigieg is raising a ton of money, but I don't think he has anywhere near the same support as those three do. He just doesn't. It's not there. This guy's polling in single digits. Get out of here, man. So, he only has good fundraising efforts because he's sucking that corporate dick. It's not because he actually has any kind of appeal. Biden actually has name recognition and he was vice president. So my point is, I see this as a three-way race. I don't think Elizabeth Warren is, going to go anywhere anytime soon. That's ridiculous. But we'll have to see how she does in the primary. I wouldn't be surprised if she's stuck in it to the end. Again, I don't think this is very good news for her, though. If I was in her campaign, I'd be sweating, man. I would be sweating because not only did you walk back your own position multiple times, but this transition plan, oh, what a disaster. no one is convinced by it. You know, progressives are not convinced by it. Neither are centrists. Because if you say you're for Medicare for all, you're going to get that scrutiny anyway. You're going to get attacked for it. So you might as well be true to it the way it is written in the bill. Okay? Yes, it raises taxes on the middle class, but you're giving them healthcare in return and taking away all these costs and saving them money. So you're going to get attacked for it anyway. Why would you come up with some half-assed measure and then get sunk both ways? That's ridiculous. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if she kept going down in the polls, or at least, maintained that third place. I don't think she's going to be coming back, Matt. And I wouldn't be surprised if first quarter of this year, she ended up raising even less money. I would not be surprised. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's just my take, okay, for what it's worth. So yeah, again, as usual, it's good news for Bernie Sanders. It's great to see him on top, killing it. I mean, you got to think, man, Bernie Sanders didn't just raise more than anyone else. He didn't just raise the same amount as last quarter. He smashed it by 10 million. Unbelievable. I mean, it's out of the park, man. So there you go. And trust me, Joe Biden would not be at 22 million if he hadn't opened himself up to super PACs. He'd probably still be around 15 million, just like last quarter, even less probably. I'm excited to see the figures for first quarter 2020.